All over the world, people are struggling. But in some innovative communities, people are quietly changing their lives. Their stories are stories of hope, of individuals transforming themselves and their community. It's the quiet revolution.
Our little Kerala lies in the south of India, along the Arabian Sea. I have lived here all my life. Years ago, this area was completely underwater. The serfs who work for the landlords did the back-breaking work of dredging mud to create the rice paddy fields that everyone here works on. What is particular about this place is that everyone here is living with difficulty. The people here are hard workers. If they don't work, they can't eat. Even so, Kerala is a model for all of India. In education, health, community development, and literacy, Kerala is very advanced. The whole world can learn from Kerala. I first heard of the literacy program through the newspapers. They were looking for volunteer teachers. I signed up and attended a training seminar. I was deeply impressed by this class because it dealt honestly with the way poor people actually live. I immediately thought, come what may, I will teach someone in my neighborhood. I began by inviting people to the class. At first, those who were illiterate were reluctant to come to class. There were some people who would tell me honestly, I don't know the alphabet. But most people were embarrassed and kept quiet. 3 out of 20 people in the world live in India. 2 of these 3 are illiterate. In India, 66% of the population is illiterate. To encourage people to come to class, we organize plays and rallies.
അയ്യോ അത് ഐശ്വര്യത്തിലുള്ള വണ്ടിയാണല്ലോ. എഴുത്തുമാനും അറിയില്ലേ? അതിന്റെ ബോർഡ് നോക്കിയാൽ മതിയായിരുന്നല്ലോ.
അതിന് കുഞ്ഞ് എനിക്ക് എഴുത്തും വായനയും ഒന്നും അറിയില്ല.
അടുത്ത വണ്ടി.
Even though Kerala has a strong history of education, there are still 3 million illiterate people here. For these 3 million, we have recruited 350,000 instructors. After the rallies, a few women began coming to class. There are 3 kinds of students in my class. Those who can already read a few lines, those who can read some words, and those who can read only 2 or 3 letters. The women have done such hard manual labor that for precise work like writing, their muscles are too stiff. One woman couldn't even draw a circle. It took her a whole week to write the letter Ka. It was in literacy class that I first discovered what patience was. I learned it from watching my students. I live with my parents and 2 of my brothers. My mother works in the fields when she can find work, and my brothers are road workers. I think a lot about my future. My parents are very poor, and it was a sacrifice for them to send me to college. Only my brothers have steady work. After I graduate, I hope I will be able to find a job. I go to college in Changanacheri. It is a 2-hour boat ride from my village. I'm very fortunate. Most girls from poor families have to work, but my parents believe that it is only through education that one can improve one's life. When I come home from class, I feel sad because Changanacheri is such a stimulating place, and in my village we have so little time for anything but work. The classes are held in the evening because the women work all day. They have to get up at sunrise, feed their families, then go to work in the fields. When they return home, they must finish their housework, prepare dinner, and then they can come to literacy class.
എന്നുവെച്ചാൽ ഇത് രണ്ടുകൂടെ ചേരുന്നതാണെന്ന് കാണിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ കാണിച്ചത്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ എഴുതിയാൽ മതി. ഉണ്ടോ? അപ്പൊ വള്ളി കിട്ടില്ല, ഇതിന് വള്ളി ഇട്ടാലേ ഉള്ളൂ. ഉണ്ടോ? പോലെ തന്നെ
സ്റ്റേഷൻ
ചേച്ചി ഇതൊന്ന് വായിക്കണേ. അതെന്നാ പടം കണ്ടിട്ട്
അസുഖം പിടിച്ചിരിക്കണം. ഈ സമയത്താണ് നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ പട്ടിണിക്കാണുണ്ട്. നാം അറിയാം. ഈ സമയത്ത് എന്താളാണ്
എന്തായിരിക്കും നമ്മുടെ ഇന്ത്യയിലെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്തെ ഈ പട്ടിണിയുടെ കാരണം എന്തായിരിക്കും?
ജനങ്ങൾ പണിയില്ലാതെ വന്ന പട്ടിണിയാവും.
പിന്നെ ഈ ഭാഗത്തൊന്നുമില്ല.
വില പോയി അവർ നമ്മൾ കൊണ്ടുവരുമ്പോൾ അതിന് വില പോയി.
പിന്നെ
അതൊന്നും ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാം. ഞങ്ങൾ പഠിച്ചു വരുന്നില്ല. അങ്ങനെ പറ്റിയതാണോ എന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസമില്ല.
പട്ടിണി നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ പട്ടിണി ഉണ്ടാകാനുള്ള കാര്യം നമുക്ക് തന്നെ എന്തെല്ലാം കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട്. നമുക്ക് തന്നെ പട്ടിണി വരാനുള്ള കാര്യമാണ്. നമ്മളൊക്കെ നല്ലവണ്ണം ജീവിക്കണം. അത് നാം അറിയണം എന്നാണ് പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് ഇനിയും ഒത്തിരി കാര്യങ്ങൾ അതേപ്പറ്റി പറയാം. നിങ്ങളാരും അതിനകത്ത് ഒരുങ്ങത്തോണ്ടല്ലോ. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ല, നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് വേണം എനിക്കും അറിയാം കേട്ടോ. ഇനി നമുക്ക് കാരണം അറിയാം.
Ellie is a very sharp learner, but the first one to come to class every day is Thangama.
To help support my family, I sell these baskets. I learned basket weaving from my mother, who learned it from her mother. I also go to work in the rice paddy fields. My husband doesn't have a year-round job, but during the dry season, he digs mud. During the harvest season, Kamala, Ellie, and I go to work together in the paddy fields. When the grain is ready, we begin by cutting it. We have to bend over non-stop for 5 hours. Then we bundle it and thresh it with our feet. At the end of the day, we take it by boat to the landlord's house. We get paid in grain according to the amount we harvest.
മാനം മാറുന്നു. കോളം മാറി പണ്ടത്തെ ഈ മാറിയായിരിക്കും കോളം മാറി. അങ്ങനെയാണോ? വെട്ടം സൂര്യൻ ഇരിക്കുന്നതിനെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല.
അമ്പലമില്ല, കഞ്ഞിക്കുടിക്കാനില്ല, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള മാർഗങ്ങളൊന്നും കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പിന്നെ അങ്ങനെ പഠിത്തം കിട്ടും.
Today, we can study and we have our own house. It used to be different. Because we were untouchables, we were treated like slaves. We existed only to work for the landlords. We had no land, no house, no clothes, no food. We finally fought back, and in 1970 we received the government's support. They passed a law to redistribute the land. Our family got land for a small house and a field to grow rice. That was the time of the landlords. We used to live in fear. Animals were not afraid. It was us humans who were afraid. Now, because of our courage and our struggle for land, we have come so far. God gave us the strength. Because of the land reform, we can now turn our minds toward education.
It used to be the Erava caste on one side and the Nayars on the other. You always saw a difference. Even though I went to college, I also believed in separation. I would never enter an untouchable's house or eat their food. Now, I will visit the women in my neighborhood. One day, Kamla made me a cup of tea and I drank it. I used to pass Ellie's house and never enter the courtyard. We would speak only through the fence.
ഇതിനെപ്പറ്റി എന്തുണ്ട് പറയാൻ? പാടം നോക്കി തരണം. വെള്ളം വെള്ളം സർവത്ര, പക്ഷെ തുള്ളി കുടിക്കാനില്ല. സത്യമാണോ നമ്മളെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം? നിങ്ങളൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ കണ്ടത്തിന് ചാലിയുടെ വെള്ളം കൂടിയല്ലേ കുടിക്കുന്നത്? അങ്ങനെ കുടിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
മറ്റുള്ള അഴുക്കുകളൊക്കെ ജന്തുക്കളൊക്കെ ചത്തും ചീഞ്ഞും ശവങ്ങളും വന്നിട്ടില്ല. വെള്ളം ഒഴുകൊണ്ട് പോകുന്നില്ല. ഞാൻ അതല്ലേ നമ്മൾ കുടിച്ചപ്പോ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒഴുകി പോകില്ല. അതുകൂടെ അതൊക്കെ ചെയ്യും.
ടൈഫോയിഡ്, കോളറ, ത്വക്ക് രോഗം, ചൊറിയൊക്കെ പറ്റില്ലേ, അത് കണ്ണിന്റെ അസുഖങ്ങൾ, ഇതൊക്കെ ജലമുഖ രോഗങ്ങളാണ്. ഇനി നമുക്ക് ഇതിനൊരു പ്രതിവിധി ചെയ്യാം. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു വീട്ടമ്മയെ ആശ്രയിച്ചിരിക്കും ബാക്കിയുള്ളവരുടെ നമ്മുടെ വീട്ടിലുള്ള എല്ലാവർക്കും കൊടുക്കണം. നമ്മളെ കൊടുക്കുന്ന പോലെ അവര് കഴിക്കുന്നത്. തീർച്ചയാക്കിയത്
illiterate people are women. When we become literate, we will be more aware of our children's health, our husband's health, our family's living conditions. It is the women who begin a country's development.
Because I was uneducated, I couldn't even teach my children the alphabet. Sometimes when they were ill, I didn't know the proper treatment. You can only teach what you yourself know.
It is not only women who are participating in the literacy program. All over the state of Kerala, even in the most remote villages, men, women and children are studying in the literacy program. From village to village, from city to town, people are learning to read and write. They are learning about disease. They are learning about the causes of hunger. Awareness through education is the goal. No matter what caste or religion they are, once people can read and write, they become aware of the world and can improve their lives. My students have learned so much. Ellie told me that now she wants to learn English. When I said that the program was going to be over next month, the class was quite depressed. They said, "Priya, what shall we do in the evenings?" I said, "Why not read the newspaper or a magazine?" They said, "But we'll miss the class. We'll miss Eliama's laugh and Thankama's songs. Let us not stop." Before, it was difficult for my students to travel. They could not read the signs. One day, Maria came running up to me and said, "My Priya, I always had to walk to buy medicine. Today, I read the sign Kaddipuram on the bus. I took it all the way to the store."
Besides reading and writing, we have achieved so much. I remember when Priyama taught us that the earth is round. At first, I didn't understand what she meant. That the earth is a round thing? I even argued with her about it. We aren't young anymore. This isn't easy. But at least now I know I can read. These days, even when I have housework to do, I will go and study.